Good afternoon to all of you, or good evening now. I'm glad I could get here with you. I'm Ken Cuccinelli. I'm in your state senate, and I'm one of the few conservatives from Northern Virginia. I'm covered by the Endangered Species Act up there. But it's good to be with you all. Yeah, you finally get something good out of that bill. Finally get something good out of that bill. You know, at this Tea Party, it's worth reflecting on the first one. The first Tea Party everybody thinks about was a fight about taxes. But before the taxes came the bailout. And the bailout was for the British East India Company to the tune of 1.4 million pounds. Not pounds as in how much we all weigh, but British dollars. And they got the monopoly from Parliament and the King to sell tea in the U.S., or the colonies at that time, little did they know, and raise the taxes. So they went together. First came the bailout, then came the taxes. And in the last year, we've had two bailouts. You know, since this government took control in Washington, we focused so much on the second one, it's worth a little bipartisan reflection to remember that the one last September was a Republican-led bailout. That one wasn't any better than the second one led by the Democrats. We need politicians who will stand up for you all every single time. The ones you should look for, the good votes in Washington, are the ones that voted against both of the bailouts. Both of them. Too many Republicans said, well, he's our president, we'll go along, and plus Chicken Little is really getting loud around here last September. And they went along. They should have rocked the boat, they should have stood in the way, they should have done the right thing, and a lot of them didn't. We need to take both these parties back, and we need to take our country back, and we need to take our Constitution back, and we need to do it now. We need to do it now. There's only so far a country can slide before it's hard to recover. And I was an engineer before I was a lawyer. I'm running for Attorney General, so you have to be a lawyer to run for Attorney General, so don't hold that against me. But I was an engineer before I was a lawyer, and the numbers don't lie. And when you're only raising half the money you're spending from the taxes that you're levying, and you're borrowing the other half mostly from communist China, you can't sustain that. You can't sustain that. And frankly, your children are going to have trouble sustaining that. And your grandchildren are going to have trouble sustaining that. And all the while, this same government in Washington is trying to take away Virginians' ability to govern itself. When we talk about state sovereignty, what we're talking about is Washington taking away Virginia's right to regulate its own mining industry. Cap and tax, to shove regulations on us that we don't want. I mean, when I told you the bailout came first, the tax came second. Cap and trade. Biggest tax increase ever, there's the tax that goes along with it. There's the tax. Even Greenpeace opposed that bill. How about that? Greenpeace opposed cap and trade because they even said it didn't do anything for the environment. Well, if Greenpeace, who has an incredibly low standard for doing anything for the environment, thinks it's no good, then what's it about? It's about raising your taxes and controlling your life. And don't miss either one of those. Don't miss either one of those. The taxes are easier to figure out. But when they tell you what electricity you can use and when you can use it and how you can use it, they're telling you how to live your life. They're telling you how to run your business. And in Virginia, I'm running for the office, Attorney General, that gets to decide under the 10th Amendment whether or not we draw a line in the sand and say the federal government has gone too far and we're going to fight back now. And I'll tell you what, with a name like Cuccinelli, I'm obviously got some Italian in me, but I'm half Irish and I like to fight. And I'm ready to fight the federal government when they cross that line under the 10th Amendment and defend your state sovereignty and defend the citizens of Virginia and put you all first and not some growing government and all the special interests that go along with it. And mind you, that's where it is. That's where it is. And it's no coincidence that when the government decided to go into business and take over a couple of the auto companies, that the people who ended up running them were their closest allies, the union heads. That is no coincidence. Remember what I told you about the British East India Company? You think they were well connected? You bet they were well connected. And they got the monopoly, along with the taxes, here in the colonies. We weren't colonies for much longer after that, and that kind of fighting spirit is what we need to bring back. I'm glad all of you all are here. No better day than July 4th to remember those founding principles and what they put on the line for all of us. Please stay true to those principles and fight for those of us that are trying to fight for you. Try to fight for those who are fighting for you. In 2009, we've got elections in Virginia, and we've got a chance to send a message. And I hope you'll join me in doing that. And if you will, what I'll promise you is this. You'll have an attorney general who's ready to fight with Washington, who's ready to fight. I've got a record of fighting with my fellow Republicans. When they try to raise your taxes, when they won't protect your property rights, I fight with my fellow Republicans. When they're wrong, I fight with them. And that's what we need more of. So thank you all very much. If you want a fighter in the AG's office, you want someone to protect your Constitution and to protect Virginia's sovereignty under the 10th Amendment, then I need your vote in November and would appreciate your support, your help, and your prayers. Thank you all very much. Have a great night.
Well, we're going to have more coming up on subsequent editions of Valley Vision News about all of these things. Well, we'd like to thank Marcus for coming out.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. And that's it for Valley Vision News. I'm Greg Aldridge.
Listen to the words that you hear, said the ghost of Vietnam through a veil of napalm. Don't forget your mistakes and where you came from.